Hey, good morning, everybody. Belinda Wasser here from the Virtual Assistant Connection. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is one of my favorite things to do, and that is to come on live with you and answer any question that's on your mind. So welcome, welcome. It's what's today? Today's Friday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern, and I'm excited to be here. So I really appreciate, I can see some people coming on, which is great. And what I'm going to do is, while you're getting organized and getting your questions ready, it looks like we have a comment. Good morning, June. Good morning. Thank you for coming. While we're getting organized and everybody's getting in their seat and I'm pouring myself something to drink, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and who I am. Because there's so many, well, a couple reasons. One, there are so many new people in our group every single week that I want to sort of reset, reset a little bit about who we are. And also we're on different platforms right now. We're streaming in several places on Facebook, on this Facebook business page. We're streaming in the VIP club. We're also streaming in my free online classroom, the Virtual Assistant Connection, and on Periscope, which is Twitter, the Twitter live stream, and on our YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, click that subscribe button so you'll find out when we go live again. But so I want to tell you a little bit about me, and then we're going to dive into all your questions. So if you want to put into the chat right now where you're coming from, that would be great. One of the things that's so exciting for me is to see where everyone's from. It's not a couple weeks ago, last weekend and last Friday, I set up some interviews with people in the Virtual Assistant Connection, the big group. I offered, I think, like 15 different interviews. I'm working on a new course for you guys coming out in March, and I wanted to hear firsthand what it is that you would like in the course, like if you had a magic wand. And the spots filled up immediately. And I talked to people from the UK and Australia and Illinois and New Jersey and Nairobi and like all over the place. It was so amazing. And it was really amazing to see the common thread, which is, I spoke, really only women signed up. I spoke to women who are interested in really growing their business and helping other businesses and supporting themselves and their families. And that's really at the core of who we are. And so I just want to tell you my story. All right, so this is my delicious daughter. In this picture, she was 9 years old. That was 10 years ago. I can't believe that. She's 19 right now. And I was just starting my virtual assistant business. It was not the most ideal time. It was a time where I had not been able to pay the mortgage for over a year. I had debt stacked up all around me. And the phone was ringing a lot because creditors were calling, wanting to know when the next payment's going to be. And I don't know if any of you have been through that, but it's very stressful. It's very stressful. And it just like squeezed all of my breath out of me and my creativity, and so here I am in this moment. I have to figure out, I'm getting divorced. I didn't mention that. Getting divorced, want to take care of Emily. It took me a long time to get pregnant. And the last thing I wanted to do was to have her be the victim of all of this and be shuffled around, to different places. I wanted her to have as stable as possible of a childhood and a lifestyle. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. And prior to this, I was in IT, and that was back in the beeper day. Well, I guess it was Nokia cell phones hooked to your waist, but I didn't want to go back to that lifestyle either. So I had to figure out exactly what I was going to do. Good morning, Isabel. So great to see you here. So I had to figure that out. And so what happened was, in my moment of what am I going to do, I started temping. I had a background in admin. I'd been a secretary a million years ago. And so I knew how to type. I knew Microsoft Office. And so I started temping. Joe's got her tea. Yay. I love that wedding picture of you. It's so pretty. That's awesome. I'm glad you have your tea. Thanks for coming. So here I am. I'm at this moment of like, what the heck, am I going to do? And so I started temping. And when I started temping, the reaction I got from the people that I was working with started to build my confidence, because I've always had an attitude of, yeah, you bet, I got this. Yeah, what do you need? Okay, let me figure it out. And that was rewarded. And so I started to think, okay, well, maybe I could do this for other people and on my own, because that's the key. Temping is great. But anytime someone else is providing the work for you, you don't make as much money typically, right? As if you go direct with the client. So started telling people what I had on my mind, in terms of this business. And one of the dads at the school bus stop, I didn't know this, but he said, I'm starting a business. We met for tea one morning, and he asked me what I thought about what he was doing. I told him what I thought, and he said, would you join me and help me do this? And I was like, oh yeah, all day. Like, you got it. So I started working for him part-time. It wasn't virtual, but it was, like simple stuff. Like, he needed me to go to the Apple store and buy 4 computers, and here's what they are. And he needed me to set up software, things that I had done just in my regular mom life. So I did that for a while. And then one day, something really pretty big happened, which was I met Michael Katz, who a lot of you have heard me talk about. I should make this picture bigger. So Michael Katz is someone that I was told about 10 years before this. I started getting his email newsletter. You can sign up for it at bluepenguindevelopment.com. And he talked about marketing and email newsletters in a way that was very authentic to me and comfortable. And I knew I needed to do that for I had an online store for a number of years before becoming Rocket Girl. And I knew I needed to use, email. It was sort of like, it wasn't the new thing, but email marketing 19 years ago was very different than it is now. And so I bought his book, I read it, I followed him, I read his newsletters, and I learned a ton from him about how to market my business. So fast forward all these years, I'm at a wedding. One of my friends comes over and says, Michael Katz is here. I'm at a reception. And I say, no way. She says, yes. So we go scooting over there, talking to him. And, super nice guy. I had him on this big pedestal, but like, just really nice guy, down to earth, approachable. And so the next day I connected to him on LinkedIn. And he must have checked me out. I told him what I was up to, because I'm telling everybody, if you need admin help, I'm your girl. And then he got in touch with me, and he was doing a live event at Constant Contact, and he needed someone to help him with credit card processing, which I understood because I had the store, and to do the organizing thing, like come to the event, check the people in, sell his book, like not any heavy lifting, just stuff I could totally do. And we started talking, and he was my first virtual client, even though I met him at the event. He lives an hour away from where I used to live in Boston, and we worked together virtually. And people kept saying, thanks for the invitation. He has a huge list. Thanks for the invitation to your event, but I live in Chicago and I can't go. And so we started thinking, we were talking, and we started thinking, well, why don't we do this online? And I had no idea how to do that, and he had no idea how to do that, but he had the content, and he was willing to pay me to figure it out. So we figured out, how to invite people, how to register them, how to take the money, all of those things. And we built this very successful, it wasn't a side business, but it was a side service that he offered that he's still doing today. Still doing today. And it turned into some courses for him and a very lucrative, line of business. And what happened with me is that I was on the webinars. He would introduce me. People would start to see my work. If someone had a customer service issue, I would be the one that handled it. And then they started to see who I was, and they started to ask me to help them as well. So it's very unlikely, if someone would have said 19 years ago, you're going to, go to this meeting and someone's going to tell you about this guy, and you're going to read his book, and then you're going to hang out for 10 years, and then you're going to meet him at a wedding. And then, your business is going to be built from that, and your lifestyle is going to completely change, I would have said you're crazy. But that's how it happens. It's very, one thing at a time. I had a client meeting this morning at 8 o'clock, and we were talking about how, sometimes when we see the whole picture of what we need to do to change our life or to get to the next place we want to go to, we just focus on the end result, which is good. You want to know what that end result is. But what I try to do is to just think of the next step. Like, okay, given where I want to go, what's the next step I need to take, and just do that. And then celebrate that, right? And so that's what I did. I met him. We I had one client, and then I had another client, and just sort of focusing on the next sort of inspired step, if you will. So let me tell you what happened then. Okay, so now here we are. We're 10 years later. Can't believe how I can't believe how I went from literally not being able to breathe to where I am now, which is I've been in business for 10 years full time. I've worked with over 200 clients, and that's all accumulated. Well, it hasn't accumulated. I've spent it over time supporting myself and my family. But if you put all the money together that Rocket Girl Solutions, which is the name of my virtual assistant business, collected over those 10 years, it's $1 million. And I did it at home. And actually this chair I'm sitting in right now, I've had this chair a really long time. And so I just want you to know that the takeaway here is that when you come from like really nothing, like I didn't have like 1 million people on LinkedIn. I didn't have, any of the things that I had now. I had a couple of notebooks and my cell phone, and I was really scared because, like my house is going away. I have to move. I have this delicious girl. I have to take care of her. I don't want her to have, this broken childhood. I need to be the rock. I need to be the one who can provide for her. And being a VA is how I did it. And I'm so grateful for it. So now this is what it looks like. This is Greg, like such a good guy. Oh my gosh. And this is Emily. This is us this summer. And, there's almost nothing about my life that's the same at all. And it just happened one thing at a time, one decision at a time, really just one thing at a time. So, okay. So now it's all about you guys, and there's a bunch of you here. So let's do this. Let me stop my screen. I'm not sure what's going to show up when I do that. My Kleenex box. So here's my Kleenex box. We'll move that. That'll be distracting. And so let's talk about you. Okay, so what is it that, what's on your mind? What are the things that you want to celebrate? What are the things you're excited about? This is a time you can brag. And what are your questions? What are the things that are like, oh my gosh, if I only knew this, I would be good. So tell me. And I don't actually have tea. I have Diet Dr. Pepper today. So first you can warm up and just tell me where you're coming from. I'm in New Canaan, Connecticut. I've been living here for almost 6 years. Well, I guess 5.5 years. And I moved here for Emily and I to live with Greg. We knew each other in high school, and we knew who each other was. There was no, we didn't run around with the same people. But I re-met him at a 35th high school reunion, believe it or not. And now here we are. So here's somebody from Toronto. So tell me what's on your mind, you guys. What's on your mind? Either that, or the other thing is I do want to tell you about, and I'll do this if you want, while we are waiting for your comments to come in. I will share my screen, because I want to tell you about this. We're going to have an event later today. Here's good morning from, hi Gail, for Edmonton, Canada, Monica. She's one of our new VIPers from LA. Oh, it's early, 10:09:87. Whoa, thanks for coming. It's early there. It's 7 o'clock this morning. I was still in bed for sure. All right, well, I'll tell you about what's going on with me. And then when you put your questions in, we'll just pop in there. Okay, we'll pop back and forth. So let me share my screen again. So I just, we're going to have another Launchpad course. And let me just make me smaller. And it's going to start next week. It's going to start on Thursday. So, oh, Anna. Hi, Anna. Thanks for coming. You're in Serbia. That's awesome. Thanks for all your emails. I really appreciate how much time you took with that. Anna was helping me with the new course that's actually going to replace the Launchpad. So if you've been thinking about the Launchpad, I'll tell you what this is all about, but this is going to be the last dance with the Launchpad. We're going to do something different and a little bit bigger in how many people will be in the course. And here's another comment. Okay, here, Joe. Here she's coming. Coming in from the UK, I just did an ebook cover, mock-up, and brief Facebook marketing for clients' new ebook, and I'm so happy with how it looks. Sounds not much, but I have permission to pop it on my website as an example. And I know she has had others, and she's going to have I know she had others have a bash at the designing, and so she loved your first draft. That's amazing. You know, that is like no small thing. I'm in it's right here. I'm in the final stages of creating an ebook with my graphics guy, Mark, who I talk about all the time. That's a lot of work, you know, and mine is not even like, 200 pages. It's like 100 pages. You guys are all going to see it soon. And, but just going through every word and, the graphics and the quotes and the page numbers, and he's doing all that. I'm just trying to get the words organized. So congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it's great when you start to build up and have, have that sort of portfolio of client work. And I bet you learned so much doing it. So good for you, Joe. That's awesome. And no problem. I love those little hearts that you've got there. That's cool. All right, so I'm going to watch the comments for your thoughts and your questions. So pop them in, and your wins, anything you want to talk about, and I'll tell you about this in the meantime. So the VA Launchpad is a course that I designed a couple of years ago. We've had lots of people go through it very successfully. And essentially, if you're ready to start your journey as a virtual assistant, or you've been doing it for a little while and you're not where you want to be, the Launchpad is a step-by-step how to get there. So it's hard when you're on your own. And, even when you're in groups like this, they're very supportive, but sometimes you just have a very specific question, or you have about, 50 of them. Like, this is what I just did. What do I do now? And that's how I learned my business, that just like one decision at a time. But I had someone whispering in my ear, and that made a huge difference for me. And so that's why I created this course, so I can offer that for you. So the Launchpad is, it's a 12-week program, and it's for people who are ready. And the people who have taken the class over the last year and a half or so, the ones that applied themselves and followed the course, and it's not difficult. What's difficult is the consistency. What's difficult is, keeping at it, but the work itself it's not difficult. It's not. But anyway, so we're offering this. I'm starting. You can sign up today. It's going to start next week. So essentially, the primary elements of the course are getting started. So there are things you need to put in place in order to get started, to make sure you're on solid footing. And then the two big things that everybody struggles with, right? How much do I charge? How am I going to make a living? And we go in, well, if anyone's been following me at all, I'm all about the details. So we go deep into the details. And the same thing with getting clients, really into the details of how to do that. And like I said, it's, my step-by-step, hands-on, do this, do that. It's like I'm sitting in the car with you, and my hands are, well, you know what, how I didn't have this when I was growing up, but Emily did. So when you're in the car with the driving instructor, Emily's driving the car, but the driving instructor, I don't know if he has a steering wheel, but he has a brake, so he can brake the car. Probably has a steering wheel too. So it's the whole idea of my hands are on the wheel with you. My foot is either on the gas or the brake, depending on what you need, but you're not alone. And that's what I love about this course. I really get to know the people that take the course. And so I want to just talk to you about what it includes. And please pop your questions in about VA land, because I'm happy to, answer any of them. And there's a bunch of you guys here today, so don't be shy. So the course is on Zoom, and it's about an hour, hour and a half once a week. And I say hour, hour and a half because, when people have questions and we're in the middle of something, I always block extra time because I want everybody to get their questions answered. So I bring a topic, whether it's, to start your business, these are the first 10 things you need to do, or the first 5 things you need to do. And then each week we meet. You have email access to me. Many of the people are in the VIP club, so they can jump on the Q&A calls, or just, there have been people who are stuck and they want to, jump on Zoom for a minute. That's totally, that's awesome. So that's included. You also get 2 30-minute one-on-one meetings with me. We have a private page where all the recordings go, and you have, lifetime access to those. And anything that I have in my VA business, whether it's a cheat sheet, a spreadsheet, an email template, that all of that is included with the course. There's really nothing that I have that I'm not willing to share. But the great thing is that, like I said, there's nothing really difficult about the approach. And I think a lot of people are pleasantly surprised, because I'm not teaching getting clients by cold calling or hanging out on Facebook. I mean, you can do that, absolutely, but it's sort of a softer, more gentle approach. And the people who take the class, who try this approach, are so happy and delighted when they start to get this steady stream of clients from doing this. So it's very rewarding for me, very rewarding. I'm very excited we're starting again. Here's all the points about getting started, what you need to do, the details that matter, how to talk about what you do so other people can understand and remember. That's a huge thing. We spent a whole hour on that. How to price your services, how to raise your prices, all these different things, how to get clients. And we're starting in 6 days. And the other thing that I'm putting in here, because really the people who take this class, they need it, is the email newsletter, done for you email newsletter course, which explains soup to nuts. So this could even be the first service that you offer, because after you do this course, you will totally know how to do an email newsletter for a client as well as yourself. And then I'm a big fan of getting paid up front. So I created the Rocket Girl debit card system, which is a way for clients to pay you up front with credit card. And then there's a whole system for letting them know how much time they have left. And that's all in here, including template emails you can send out. Like, the whole thing is in here. So that's part of it as well. And like I said, we're going to get started next week. So there's lots of testimonials here. I'm going to have another live in a couple of hours specifically to talk about this and answer people's questions who are looking at this. Oh, thank you, Isabel. I didn't notice your comment about my story. I appreciate that. And then there's 3 payment options. And like I said, this course is going to go away. This is the last sort of dance, if you will, for this. I'll be sharing some testimonials later. And also, I'm going to do a watch party, because I've got a bunch of interviews with people who have taken the course and were able to get great results. In fact, right now, I believe, it's not in my story right now, but I should add it. On Instagram, Marie Patel is talking on my IGTV. She's talking about, there's a testimonial for the Launchpad, so you can check it out there for sure. So, all right, so that's that. What else you guys got? Let me put my banner back on. Right, is this it? It is. So I don't know if you guys know about Clubhouse, but it's a new social media app, and what it is it's rooms. Like, it's almost like when you would remember dialing into a bridge, if you had a corporate job or there, people needed to get together. So it's sort of like dialing in like that. But you can see pictures on your phone of who's in the room, and it's kind of cool. I was a little skeptical at first when I heard about it. I thought, oh no, there's another thing I have to do or that I need to check out. And someone encouraged me. And last night I hosted my first room. So, and I had no idea what I was doing. And Michelle Brewer was there. Thank goodness. She's in the VIP club and she's like total whiz at Clubhouse. And so she was there telling me like, you know, how to clap and how to bring people up to the stage and how to, you know, why it's important to have moderators. And so it's kind of like a podcast, except people can talk to you and it's a conversation. So last night we talked about, hold on, I was thinking about too many things at once. We talked about, discovery calls. So free 30-minute consultations and got lots of information. I don't know how many people were there in total, but at some point there was probably 15 people. And they were talking about all different kinds of stuff, you know, like we talked about whether or not to put your prices on your website. You know, is it a good idea to have, you know, a questionnaire for the people signing up for the free discovery call before they meet with you? You know, what are some questions? So it was really fun and I enjoyed it. And we're going to do it again. We're going to have another Clubhouse room on Tuesday night at 7:00. And we're going to talk about the lifestyle of a virtual assistant, because I think it's very, you know, it's very different depending on who you are, where you live, who your clients are, you know, the hours that you work, you know, all of that. It's pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say, because, you know, all of us are sort of living in our own little lane here of what we think it looks like. But last night was so illuminating for me to hear about, because I've had my prices on my website pretty much forever, and to hear other virtual assistants say why that's not a good fit for them, you know? So it's pretty interesting. Well, I'm going to stay on a couple more minutes. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to scoot off and move on to the next thing, but I would love to answer them. So because there's a lag, I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes and see what's on your mind. All right, you guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. It was nice to see you. Thanks for telling me where you're coming in from. And big win, Joe. Thanks for sharing that. So I'll see you guys later on. I'm going to be here again at, let's see what time. I think what time is it now? It's 10:30. At 12:30. I'll be back at 12:30 to talk about the Launchpad. And if you have any questions about that or you'd like to join me, here, I'll just see if I have, I don't. Let me just put up my cell phone. So if anyone's thinking about the Launchpad and you want to have a quick chat or jump on Zoom, just shoot me a text. And I would be happy to talk to you. Okay, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye.